Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to my first ever Reinhardt guide. For those of you who are new, I'm Derpy and I've peaked out at rank 1 with Rein being my most played hero. I was also the first champion Reinhardt player in the world, and in season 12 I had 3 different accounts top 10 with Rein being the most played on all of them. In my opinion, Reinhardt is a hero that either takes over the lobby or gets completely shut down by what the enemy team is playing, and my goal with this video is to help you feel more comfortable playing the hero and getting value on any map and against any composition. Hero bans have been implemented in a way that helps one-tricks. You can't see the lobby beforehand, so you can't target ban an enemy one-trick if they have one. However, as the one-trick, you're able to remove heroes from the game that completely shut your hero down. That's why I always choose to ban Ana and Ramatra. I like to ban Ana because her nade and sleep dart are both very easy to land versus Rein, and if either of them connect you instantly die, or are forced out of the team fight for 10 seconds. And I ban Ramatra because I find that a lot of players play Ramatra to hide the fact that they aren't actually good at tank. The hero is extremely forgiving for misplays, and by banning it I make it so that the enemy tank has to play a hero that requires at least some skill. I've thought about banning Orisa instead, but I find that more people play Ram when I ban Orisa than the number of people that play Orisa when I ban Ram. When looking at his kit, Rein is a very basic hero. He doesn't require much mechanical skill, he has a ton of health, and his abilities do a lot of damage when you're able to connect them. He is only a bad pick when you aren't able to connect them for whatever reason. In which scenarios would you not be able to land your abilities? For now, I'll ignore Firestrike and focus on the melee weapon. Maps like Numbani, Gibraltar, Dorado, and Paraiso contain extreme high grounds that take Reinhardt 20 or 30 seconds to access, and by that time, the enemies will likely have rotated away from where you were trying to get to. Whether the enemies ignore you and dive your backline or just simply walk away from your hero, it's frustrating to make a rotation just to realize your opponents are no longer there. So what's the solution on these maps? Ideally you would just swap, but since we're focusing on playing Rein, your only actual solution is to sit on the payload. Sitting on the payload is super beneficial on defense because of how hard it is to force your hero out. By managing your shield and health pool, Rein can stay on the cart for a very long amount of time depending on how many people are shooting him. Once you get to the point where your shield is low and more people are focusing you, simply pin away from the cart and recharge your shield and repeat the process. By doing this over and over, you can drain minutes off the clock without actually winning a team fight. On attack, forcing the cart isn't as good because on attack you're fighting for angles and high grounds alongside trying to push the cart. If you notice your team is struggling to win duels and successfully take angles, you might need to help them. And since we banned Ana, I'm just gonna act like we're never gonna play against an Ana, so you should be able to pin her on the map for free and clear the enemies. You don't necessarily need to kill them, you just need to help your team claim the space before you go back to the cart. At this point, the enemy team will usually meet you on the payload, and since you helped your team get high ground, you should be more likely to win the fight. Another case in which you might not be able to land many swings is when the enemies are on a super fast dive comp. For example, say they're playing Wrecking Ball, Lucio, Kiriko, Pharah, and Tracer. It's unlikely that you'll be in range to kill most of these heroes, however what you can do is pin your backline every time they look for an engage. The reason this works is because the enemy team will usually use cooldowns to access your backline, meaning that if you meet them at the point of their dive, you'll be able to do damage and most likely get some kills. Again, forcing the cart is best in these scenarios because it requires one of their heroes to match you, which would be an unfavorable duel for them. Use the shield turn technique to know exactly when you need to make the decision to help your backline. You can turn your shield by holding the shield and then pressing your primary fire button and moving your mouse or your controller or whatever you play on. This will allow you to have your shield face one direction while your camera is pointing to another. In general, you should sit on the cart, turn your shield towards your backline, and then pin as soon as you see the enemies dive. To summarize, if you find that the map or enemy team comp makes it hard to do damage, just force the objective. The enemies have to either give you free objective progress or put themselves in a position to where you actually can do damage. If you're on a map like Circuit Royale playing versus a comp like Sig, BAP, Zen, you'll notice that you actually are able to do damage to their comp, but will die almost instantly if you drop your shield. In these cases, use corners, the payload, and your shield as cover. You'll be able to swing on their tank if he pushes you, or if you have a hero like Juno or Lucio that can give you a temporary speed boost. In these cases, drop your shield, swing twice in Firestrike, and then redeploy your shield so that you can regain health and repeat the process. If you eventually notice you might die if you stay on the cart, use your pin to get out and regain resources. Make sure you force out enemy stuns like rock before pinning out so that you don't get stunned out of your pin. Managing your shield alongside your health bar is very crucial on Rein. I find that I barely hold shield longer than a few seconds at a time, but briefly put it up and down to block burst shots. It's pretty easy to identify a hero's rate of fire, such as Pharah. If a Pharah is shooting you, shield the rocket, drop your shield the second rocket, drop your shield, and keep looping. This allows you to move for free and still block the high damage projectiles. Do that for almost every hero. If you're getting shot by a Genji, block his shurikens, drop the shield, and put it back up in time to block the next burst of shurikens. Most Cassidy players will only fan the hammer on a Rein, so block the fan the hammer and try to land a swing or Firestrike on him in between those blocks. You can really do this against any hero. By only using your shield on high damage shots or impactful cooldowns, you'll find it very hard to die on Rein. Blocking abilities like Lucio Boot, Brig Whip Shot, and Sig Rock will make those heroes defenseless against Rein and will give you a good window in which you can kill them. You'll find it hard to secure kills on Rein because most heroes have cooldowns that let them move away from you. The fastest way to do damage on Rein is with 2 swings and a Firestrike. You can start your first swing out of range of the enemy, land the swing as it's about to end, and then quickly do damage with your second swing and cancel the second swing with a Firestrike. If all 3 connect, you'll have done 320 damage in about 1 second, which is enough to secure a kill onto almost any support or DPS hero, and enough damage to force the enemy tank to back off for a few seconds before they begin their next engage. Firestrikes are a great way to charge your ult and force the enemy team to heal up before continuing their push. Always aim your Firestrikes parallel to the ground they're going to cross. If you're standing on a flat surface, just look directly ahead when Firestriking. Firestrike goes in a straight line for its entire duration, so if you aim it too low, it will eventually hit the ground, and if you aim it too high, it will eventually be above everyone you're trying to hit. While using the shield turn technique, using Firestrike will aim it in the direction your camera is looking at, and also turn your hero to that direction. Using Earthshatter and swing while having your camera turned will cause the same behavior, but pin won't. When you pin, you will pin in the direction your shield is facing. To bypass this, put your shield up, turn your camera by holding down your primary fire and moving your mouse, and then drop your shield while holding down primary fire. You'll then swing in the direction your camera is facing, and at that point you can use pin to pin in that same direction. Another way to think about the hero is as a distraction. While he might not always be getting the most value, it's hard to ignore the hero furthest up on the map that holds a big rectangle. You can use this to your advantage. You don't necessarily have to be doing damage if you are forcing 2 other people to shoot you. By doing this, you're forcing yourself out of the fight, but also forcing out 2 enemies, making it so that the game is a 4v3 in favor of your team for as long as that interaction is taking place. I won't talk too much about when to use Earthshatter since it's not too hard to notice windows in which you can use your ult, but the important thing is that you aren't telegraphing when you want to ult. A lot of Rein players will stay in the front line for way too long when they have Shatter since they're hyper focused on getting their ult off. This results in the player either dying or the enemies dodging the Shatter. Instead, try to just play the game in the same way you would as if you didn't have your ult, and use it when you see a god opportunity. Sometimes I like to pin a tank, cancel my pin, hold down my W and spacebar key, and turn the camera, then Shatter. I know there's a lot of steps, so I'll include a clip and slow it down so we can kind of analyze what I'm doing. So I pin the tank, I release my pin while still going forward, and then I turn my camera in the direction that I want to get my Shatter off, and then I eventually Shatter 4 players. This will set up a lot of unexpected plays and provide good value out of the ult since you're at least going to shatter their tank. Note that this only works when you pin a tank because other heroes get knocked back too far when you cancel your pin. When selecting perks, I like taking the self-regen perk and the pin overhealth perk. I think the self-regen perk is the best perk Rein has, better than both of the major perks, because if you hold shield you will get your self-heal back in just 1 second rather than waiting 4 or 5 seconds for it to activate normally. This allows you to have more of an individual playstyle on a hero that generally requires engagement from its supports. I'm not a big fan of the pin overhealth perk. The only reason I take it is because Shield Bash denies your ability to turn your camera when you have shield up, which is something I don't want to play without. If it didn't do that, I'd definitely take Shield Bash, but I'm currently the highest ranked Rein in the world without taking Shield Bash, so I don't think the perk is necessary. Alright, so let's look at a VOD from a game that I played where I'm playing against a very fast comp on a map with decent high ground. So I kind of already talked about how to play into these comps, but I want to show you guys an example. So yeah, I'll use this game from Hollywood. And before you play every match, you kind of want to see your team comp. I see that I have double hit scan, meaning that it's going to be hard for me to look for an engage onto a certain target because I don't have any flankers that can help. So I'm kind of just playing for my hit scan's value by trying to kind of distract their divers and, you know, just like pin onto my hit scans when they inevitably dive my hit scan. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm playing this. I don't really know what comp they're on yet because the doors haven't opened, but I'm fire striking the door, so I see they have Winston Genji, see they have Pharah. So I know how I need to play this now. I'm basically just trying to bait myself a little bit, get them to look at me, and then my team can shoot them while they're doing that. And then when they do dive the high ground that my team is standing on, I'm going to pin back and help my team. So right now you see me distracting them a little bit in this left room. Nothing more than that. I don't want to like walk too far in, right? Because I want to be in my team's LOS. And I see they do get this dive off, so now I'm going to pin into this room, get some damage off on the Winston. He kills my Ashe. We are able to trade their Pharah. You see I'm doing a lot of damage to this Winston, so I'm going to use pin to commit to him. I'm going to body block his jump so that he can like stay in my swing distance, or my swing range. And then I'm going to go back to my back line. I get a lucky pin kill onto the Genji. And at this point the fight is pretty much won. We do trade our BAP, but we will kill their Lucio eventually and go to the next fight. So, yeah. I'm just kind of waiting for this next fight to start. I think, yeah, this Genji like dies really late for no reason. So I'll skip to the next fight. But you see I'm holding down this choke initially. I'm not like standing on point because I want them to have to clear me out a little bit before they just jump and kill my backline. If I stand on this point, they get to walk up all the way over here for free. But I'm also not like standing here, right? Because you might be thinking like, why do I not just stand on my backline if that's where I'm gonna go anyways? Well, I don't want like, you know, I don't want their Genji just taking this side of the map for free, or their Lucio just sitting here for free and kind of shooting us, because eventually we'll lose, right? Like, you want to have more map space than just this, so I'm kind of occupying this map space for now while they're trying to take it. We get another late kill, so let me go and skip forward a little bit. That's pretty awkward. Alright. So yeah, I'm walking as forward as I can without just like, you know, feeding. Trying to like stay in my team's LOS, sort of. But also, okay, so yeah, I get booped in because I can't hear that Pharah. So how I escaped that was, I got booped in unexpectedly, but because, you know, I'm still like managing my health, I have decent shields, I have decent health. So I use my shield to block the damage, and I'm mainly blocking the Pharah damage because that's the highest burst potential damage that they have on their team comp. And I'm backing up to the point where I can pin to my backline, so I need to like back up far enough so that I'm not going to pin this car when I turn around and pin. And you're going to see how fast I go from shielding to pinning in that direction. I'll watch it back so you can see how fast I go from having my shield up to pinning to my left. It looks seamless, but I'll show you guys what I'm doing. See, like, I instantly look in that direction. And I talked about this earlier with, you know, how different abilities look after you are toggling your camera. I'm going to go into the practice range and kind of explain what I just did there. And let's say I'm holding, let's say this is the choke that I was holding. I got booped in to like this point. And let's say like, or you know what, let's say I got booped into here. I'm holding this choke and then like the car is right here, so I can't pin this. So I'm holding here, I got booped, I'm looking up. So now I'm turning my shield by holding down my primary fire. I'm not turning my shield, I'm turning my camera by holding down my primary fire so I can look freely now. I'm going to back up. I need to get past the car, and then I'm going to let go of my shield but hold down my primary fire so that I'm now swinging in this direction, because swing will look in the direction that your camera is facing. So I'm going to do that, but instead of swinging, I'm going to like instantly pin, you know? Like I still swing, like that's still the button I'm holding down is the swing so that I can cancel my, so I can get rid of my shield. But then I'm instantly going to pin. You can't even see the swing. But you can't just like pin. You have to hold swing down, or else this is gonna happen. Let's say I let go. Okay, that was a really bad example. Sorry. Let's say I'm doing this, right? And then I am holding down both buttons, but I press left shift. I'm gonna pin in the direction of my shield, and that's not what we want to happen, right? We don't want to pin into their team. We want to pin to my backline. So make sure. Once again, I'll go through it again because it's kind of like weird to understand. Right now, I'm only holding my right click, my shield button. Now I'm holding down my swing button, right, my primary fire. Now I can move my camera freely. And then at this point, I take my finger off of my shield button and then press left shift instantly after doing that. And that's how that pin goes off. It's pretty specific, but I feel like you guys should really learn that because, you know, learning to like cleanly, like just clean pin out of your shield is very important, and will help you from just taking unnecessary damage or being in a spot that you don't want to be for too long. So let's go back to where that happened over here. What's going on? Okay, it was here, I think. Okay, I get booped in, I do the shield thing I was talking about. And look, I'm really low. If I didn't do that, I probably would have died if I didn't pin out that fast, right? So we match support ults. I know their Kiri's kind of peeking this corner, so I'm gonna hope I get lucky with the window Firestrike. I do. Then I'm gonna go top to kind of clear out this Lucio that I saw up here and distract their Winston, which is really good value. Again, their tank's not playing the game right now, which is perfectly fine for me, because I'm already up one. I'm fine taking that trade. And I know that this guy's taxing his Kiri, so I'm just gonna shatter their spawn, right? Kind of a heads up play, but it's something you can think about. So yeah, I get 2 kills for free there. Basically secure that fight. And we still have a guy behind us that I'm keeping, you know, I'm gonna, okay, so we kill him. Alright, so now I know they have Barrage, they have Beat, they have a lot of ults that can just like insta-kill me, so I have to play pretty careful, you know, if I get caught out in that choke again, I'll just get Barrage this time and I'll die, so I don't want to play as far forwards. So I'm going to hold on point now with my team, and kind of sit on this high ground a little bit to deny their Lucio and Genji, or whoever wants to play on this high ground, this position on the map for now. I'm just kind of standing here to deny that position. I'm not like doing any damage, getting any kills. Gonna do damage to their Winston. Now I have to drop because they're forcing me out, but they had to use some resources to force me out, so I'm fine with that. And I'm just playing safe because I know they have those ults. I know their Pharah and Genji are staging in this room. So yeah, I see their Pharah go over here, and I'm trying to block the barrage. Like, I'm hoping I can pin onto him. He'll just barrage instantly, and then I'll shield. But you see he uses his movement ability first before barraging, so I can't just shield it and kill him with it. But I do end up getting the trade and use an ult. For those who don't know, you can shield the barrage, and it will do splash damage to the Pharah. And if you like shield it close enough, he'll just die to his own barrage. So that's what I was going for there. Unfortunately, it failed, but I get the trade, so I'm not that mad about it. I know there's a guy in my spawn because I can kind of hear him. I'm just gonna go back to the point. And I'm kind of playing it the same way. There's not much more that I'm doing this fight than I was before, so I don't need to talk too much about it. They just used Blade in my back line. Their Genji's already behind us, so I can't really deny that. I do get the window Firestrike kill into the Genji, but at this point they're using Primal Blade. My back line's gonna die. My DPS are dying. That's fine. Just go next fight. I start on the high ground for now because I want to give my DPS that position, so I don't just instantly go to the corner. Because against this comp, I want to hold on the corner. I want to hold on the cart, right? Like what I was talking about. I just want to be a big distraction. I want to be on the objective. I don't want to give them free progress, so I want to be on the cart. But the cart's not far enough yet to where I can just drop and do that. So for now, I'm helping my DPS get this high ground. I get booped off, but, you know, again, I don't want to walk to the corner yet because the cart's not far enough. Try to do some Firestrike damage. And then I end up back up top. Now I know the cart's far enough, so I'm going to be looking to drop soon. And yeah, I don't see them really diving or anything, so I don't need to put my back on right now. I'm just going to drop the cart, swing on that Winston, do some damage to him. And I guess he just messes his jump up and dies. But a lot of that came from my swings and Firestrike, so that was good damage onto the Winston. And yeah, now I can pretty much just sit on cart. It's not much harder than that. Like, by sitting on cart, my team can heal me. They have to force me out, which is bad for them because I have hit skins already set up on the high ground. So they're going to get shot at if they try to force me out of cart. I see them working this left angle to ignore me, which is a good rotation from them, so I want to mark this room. I don't want to let them walk. And you can kind of see, like, where I stand on the map against this comp, like, they can't play, right? Because they don't want to walk into me because I'm just going to kill them. But if they ignore me, it gives them an unfavorable position. And yeah, you see I go for a surprise shatter on that Kiri. They use rush top. I get barraged, is what it is. But yeah, it's the main thing, right? Is like where you stand, they can't play, so make them stand in a bad spot that your team can shoot them in. That's the big thing I'm going for. Yeah, I will just eventually end up back on carts. And yeah, I know that Winston's walking over here, so I'm putting main, force out a Suzu. So that's good. And I don't want to walk straight line into them here. I can't like walk into them because that would be out of LOS of my team, right? Because I know my supports and my DPS are playing on this high ground. So I don't want to walk up too far. But I'm kind of scouting ways that I can disrupt their rotation. So I walk all the way right behind them and they don't see me. So I'm able to just go up top, kind of go in their DPS. Now I have their Hanzo looking at me and their Genji shooting me. So that's 2 DPS just kind of looking at me, not getting much value. Because I know that I probably won't die. I get to 30 HP there. I cut it kind of close, but we get 2 with high noon, so we probably would have won anyways. And there you go. That's how you play the defense against that type of comp. And then on the attack, so on attack they play Orisa. A bit of a harder counter to Rein than Winston is. But now I know they can't really engage in my backline or my DPS, which is fine. So I'm just going to play for my DPS to kind of shoot their Orisa out. I'm going to use my shield so that I can shield my DPS to do that. Initially I want to force out this Orisa top. I know that I've LOS my supports if I go top, so I'm fine. I block the Javelin, I force this guy back, which is perfect. So now I'm going to take my team main so that we can shoot this guy now because he's main. And I'm using my shield like I said, so we can shoot this Orisa. I see that he uses gold. Uses Javelin, so I can really walk in this guy. I want to force their Kiri out with TP. So now, okay, so I forced their Kiri out with my pin and uses TP. So now they go from having like kind of 2 decent angles in the map to having 1 angle, which is really bad for their comp, right? Because now my team can take whatever we want. We can take this high ground if we want to. By pinning out that Kiri, and this is kind of a bad setup from them because they only have their Kiri over there, but by pinning them out, like, there's no way we can lose this fight. There's no way, unless I just walk it down mid and die for no reason. We're eventually going to win this fight, because they have no angles. So, yeah, I force out deflect. I force out spin from this Orisa. I'm kind of just doing damage, forcing out cooldowns. But eventually, like I said, we just win. So, chase these kills, get the kill on the Pharah. Yep. Sorry. So yeah, now I want to get this high ground early for my DPS because they all have bad spawn. So I can take this high ground so that my DPS can shoot them when they're on the other high ground. And I know they have to touch soon, so they won't be able to like poke us out for too long. So I'm just gonna plan for my DPS to shoot them out here. Holding shield for them. Not that hard. Yeah. At this point I kind of look for like an unexpected shatter on their high ground. Unfortunately, I get baited by their Orisa. Get nobody. It's all good. Genji drops cart. Swing on the P1 cart. There you go. Alright. Yeah, so that basically explains how to play into those Kiri Lucio comps. Again, that would have been a lot harder if they had an Ana just kind of sitting in the back of the map, nading me and sleeping me, and that's why I banned Ana. Ramatra and Ana were both banned that game, so it was in usually a pretty favorable matchup. But yeah, also to use, like, you know, I had to think about what I was doing and stuff. You know, it's not just a free win. You have to think about what you're doing. So hopefully this VOD review helps. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this. So hope you guys enjoyed the Reinhardt guide. If you have any suggestions for future guides, something you want me to go into detail on, feel free to comment down below, and I'll look forward to making more guides and helping you.